This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest, center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Fun here at Wall Street Raw. We do a lot of stuff that you really don't hear or see in other financial programs. Great show for you today. We're going to play the Eric Haddock interview in just a few seconds that we missed last week. We have our good friend Henry Weingarten joining us, Harry Boxer joining us, Sinclair No, and Kyle Dennis. So we're going to keep you occupied here for the next hour with some great interesting market commentary and ideas. I want to remind you all to go to vrtrader.com to learn more about my services and, of course, to receive a free copy of the Gold News Raw and Vice News Raw reports. Meanwhile, let's get started and let's talk to Eric. Welcoming back my good friend Eric Haddock from the Inside Track newsletter. He's been with us many times. I've known Eric for many, many years. Eric's been doing this nearly 40 years. He's been a publisher, market commentator in both the stock and commodity markets. He founded the Inside Track letter back in 1994, though, as I said, he's been doing this a lot longer than that, and he's been interviewed in all the major television. Welcoming back my good friend Eric Haddock from the Inside Track newsletter. He's been with us many times. I've known Eric for many, many years. Eric's been doing this nearly 40 years. He's been a publisher, market commentator in both the stock and commodity markets. He founded the Inside Track letter back in 1994, though, as I said, he's been doing this a lot longer than that, and he's been interviewed in all the major television. Welcoming back my good friend Eric Haddock from the Inside Track newsletter. He's been with us many times. I've known Eric for many, many years. Eric's been doing this nearly 40 years. He's been a publisher, market commentator in both the stock and commodity markets. He founded the Inside Track letter back in 1994, though, as I said, he's been doing this a lot longer than that, and he's been interviewed in all the major television networks, and it was really a pleasure having him on the show. He starts his letter off, his byline, "Let us run with patience the race that is set before us," from Hebrews 12:1. And I know he has a biblical perspective in a lot of what he follows, but a lot of it is also technical. Thank you for joining us, Eric.
Oh, thanks for having me back, Mark. My pleasure.
Well, I'm really happy to have you on the show ahead of the Rosh Hashanah holiday coming up pretty soon, and you've done a great job in calling the market. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on right now. We're in this seasonal negative period in the markets, but you might be seeing something a little more dire after this time frame, from what I'm reading.
Well, I'm certainly seeing or expecting a few phases of some selling in the equity markets. I kind of elaborated on this decennial period that it's fairly well recognized, but really if you go back over the last 16 decades, 13 of them have seen pretty significant selling during the 7-year and leading into the 8-year of the decade. And a lot of my corresponding technicals and cycles were telling me to look for the same thing. But taking it a little more specifically, as I looked at those previous periods and some really in the last 20 years, there's been a 2-year and a 3-year cycle that have timed similar third quarter stretching into the fourth quarter sell-offs in the market. I really identified the overall time period that presented the greatest danger from July through November, and then within that period there's 3 specific periods I was watching for kind of a slow intensification of selling, first in late July into August 18th to the 22nd, which we've already seen that. Probably the Russell 2000 showed the greatest sell-off, dropping about 100 basis points during that period. And the second one of those decennial danger periods, what I call them, is between September 5th and 29th, so I am watching for another sign of a downturn here at any time, and I think we'll see another bout of selling, and then I could see a more sustained or more convincing sell-off a little bit later in the year, stretching into the fourth quarter.
I know analysts have been talking about a top here for months, and the market's been climbing that proverbial wall of worry, nothing but bad news, and continually makes new highs. So you might see a break in that pattern, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so, and yes, it certainly has held up longer than expected in many regards.
So let's talk a little bit about the other markets here. I know crude oil and gold are very popular among our listeners. Great call in gold, and you're still bullish.
Yeah, I have thought that gold would be in a bottoming process, starting in late 2015 when cycles bottomed. Then I was looking for a secondary low, a little bit of a higher low in late 2016. And then as we came into 2017, I thought we would see a sequence where you see about a 4-month rally to start the year, then about a 2-month sell-off. And if that unfolded as expected, that would yield a mid-2017 low that was higher than both the late 2016 and late 2015 lows. And each of these subsequent lows should be on a steeper angle to the upside. And that mid-2017 time frame should usher in a more convincing bull market in gold starting in the third quarter. But really the more accelerated, more sustained portion of that is still out on the horizon. And as far as crude oil, that has kind of coincided with the outlook in gold that since early 2016 when multi-year cycles bottomed, I've talked about looking for a 1 to 2 year bottoming process, and that cycles would not really turn bullish until September, October of 2017. So we have just entered that period. And even that doesn't mean that, I expect it suddenly to go to the moon. It just means that instead of a more flat lateral bottoming process on the charts, you start to see things angle to the upside.
You're also right that you feel that Middle East cycles are going to see a little bit of escalation of tensions here this month. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, that's been one of overriding cycles that I've discussed for a decade or so, and just the uncanny convergence of cycles I was expecting to really initially get triggered between September 2017 through September 2018. And when I'm talking about the Middle East, I pay as much attention to the Jewish calendar and the Jewish years, and cycles between them. And for me, I was looking for September 2017 to kind of usher in a more precarious, potentially tumultuous period in the Middle East. And so it was interesting to me, too, to just read the headlines yesterday, I think it was, of Israel bombing a Syrian chemical plant And so, is that a first salvo in something bigger or just a one-off thing? But also seeing the movement towards, Trump sending Kushner and that.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-765-9681 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-765-9681. Again, that's 800-765-9681.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective. Actual testimonials from real Numanna customers.
I've tried all kinds of food storage, and Numanna is by far the best.
I'm a single mom with 2 teenage boys and a full-time job. I don't always have time to cook a 4-course meal. That's where Numanna has been such a blessing. I can spend less time in the kitchen and more time on what matters most, like helping with homework.
Find out for yourself. Order online at thepowermall.com. That's thepowermall.com. Numanna is
the stores I love to eat. Yum!
Thepowermall.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-7740. That's 800-610-7740. 800-610-7740.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNTelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNTelecare.com, virtual care anywhere.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
back my good friend and always special guest, Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund. Henry has been doing this for about 50 years and is an excellent stock picker using both technical and astro indicators, and we always enjoy having him on the program. Good morning, Henry.
Okay, but we also do fundamentals as well, which is why we think we outperform. It's important to do fundamentals, technicals, and astrology.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
That's okay. Anyway, the main thing going on now is a significant risk over the weekend. That the market shrugged it during the beginning of the day was unusual because that situation in North Korea is not going away. So somewhere between over the next month, we think it's going to upset people more than they're being upset in the market now. So we basically went short NASDAQ over the weekend and stayed long gold because we think 1325 is a pretty good support zone for us to attack 1350 plus again. That was number one. We're happy to see oil up somewhat, although we think it will be higher as we get to next year, but it's not a straight line. Other than that, we're pretty much feeling the same way. The only interesting thing was if we were short Bitcoin, which we were not, we would have covered at 3,000, but it's still going to go lower. I think 2,500 is a better target for it because we do think it's tulips, and at a certain point people are going to wake up and say, uh-oh. But in the meantime, this is just the beginning, and it's great for traders whether they're long or short, but it's a lot more risky being long.
Jamie Dimon came out this week and thought it was a fraud or something. He made some.
Well, we agree. We think it's tulips. It's not a fraud. It's tulips. And at a certain point, when you've been filling your house for tulips, as they did in the 16th century, you find out it's worth nothing. I mean, it's not being guaranteed by anything. And anyone who thinks the government's going to let them get away with the taxation after half the stuff that goes on now with FACTA, et cetera, is just basically to get rid of people avoiding taxation. They're not going to let a big, large situation become tax-free. So it's just not going to happen. The China thing is just the first stages of it, and the ICOs are going to be another stage. So what is it worth when it's backed by nothing? In addition to which, I think there are probably some things in there that some nice Russian can pick up, 10 or 20 billion by just pushing a few buttons. So we don't trust it, and we think it's a dangerous, which doesn't mean you can't make money on the long side, but it's certainly the danger side.
Well, some of the analysts were saying the pull back in the currencies, the cryptocurrencies, help gold short term.
Well, it's hard to see what it does gold. I mean, gold is its own game, and it depends, and it's a very small market, and it's being manipulated by a lot of hedge funds both ways. I'm not manipulated in the sense that some people think, but just the fact it's a very small market and it's easy to move. Clearly, we think it's going to continue up, and it's still undervalued. Our current valuation is $13.88, so at $13.25 or so, it's got another 5% as far as we're concerned.
All right, Henry. That sounds great. Thanks so much. Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund and afund.com if you want more information as well. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you next week.
My pleasure.
Welcoming back our very special guest, Kyle Dennis, who's the Chief Biotech Strategist for RagingBull.com. He's an independent equities trader focused on uncovering undervalued stocks in the market. He researches stocks which are under the radar and looks for supporting data about the stocks which could foretell catalytic events. He's director and co-founder of BiotechBreakouts.com, where he seeks to capture the biggest percentage gains. Thanks for joining us again this Saturday morning, Kyle.
Glad to be back.
We've had a great week, a lot of great trades. It's your stage. What do you want to talk about? Which stocks and where do you see biotech going?
Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to touch base on. A lot of the trades that we've talked about have been doing very well, and that's because the biotech index, or the IBB, is the ticker there, has been performing very well ahead of what's called an ESMO conference, which is a cancer conference. Now that cancer conference is over, and so what I like to do is time my trades, and I think the IBB is a little bit extended here, and since that cancer conference is over, I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback. I like the IBB longer term, but I think that it can pull back somewhere in between the 310 to 320 range. Right now it's at about 331, 330, so just like a $10, $15 move, which is not too big, and at that point I'd be looking for some new catalysts that are going to come up. One conference coming up is the big ASH conference, which is in December, with abstracts for data coming out in early November. So one stock I'm looking at there, maybe we can touch base more next time too, is Bellicum, symbol BLCM. I'd like to always buy this on a dip. So they have some data coming out in November, and I would look to pick up shares maybe around 10.50, and play that for a nice catalyst run.
Gilead is still high on your list, right?
Yeah, Gilead is an excellent company. We started looking at that one a while ago, but it's up tremendously at $20, and I would wait for a pullback there, as I think since stuff's so big that there's going to be a lot of profit takers. But I do like that one longer term. I think it can go to 100.
We have about 30 seconds. You got a couple picks for our listeners for the coming week besides BLCM?
Sure. I am currently looking at a company, VKTX, Viking Therapeutics. They have some data coming in the fourth quarter. I think that one's set up pretty nicely to make a short-term pop. A little small one, though. It's under $1 or under $2. And then I also like the company Cidara Therapeutics, symbol CDTX, which has some antibiotic news and data coming out in the fourth quarter. So I think that one can make a run up to about $8 or $9 a share. Right now it's about $6.50 or so.
Kyle, really appreciate the input. Great stuff. Kyle Dennis from RagingBull.com and also BiotechBreakouts.com. Speak to you next week, and thanks again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Kyle, and of course, thank you, Henry, for joining us on Saturday, as you always do. And we have a still interesting show for you. I apologize for technical problems with Eric Haddock, but we do our best here. In any event, Sinclair No will be joining us in the next segment. We're going to have Harry Boxer joining us as well. Market, as you know, pushed to new record highs intraday on Friday. Dow Industrials reaching 22,275, and the S&P reaching 2,523. Really surprising from a cyclical perspective, but we do have some interesting cycles coming up here. We have the autumnal equinox next Friday, the 22nd, and we have the Jewish New Year, the 21st and 22nd, the end of next week. Many times we see change of directions in the markets around these equinox periods, so that's just a cyclical comment, but we always look for technical confirmation. But at the moment, the cycle play isn't working out for those who are looking, myself included, for a more of a corrective phase here during September, but it's still month's not over yet, so let's see what happens. And there have been instances where corrections can still carry, as you know, from the crash in 87 and so forth, could carry well into October. So for the moment, we'll keep our fingers crossed and watch the market go up until we get a new clear sell signal. Stay tuned. We'll join Sinclair Now after the break.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free Reputation reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-774-3149 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-774-3149. Again, that's 800-774-3149.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
Against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Welcome, my good friend and always special guest to Wall Street Raw, Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 and author of the incomparable blog, EatTheBankers.com. Good morning, Sinclair. Thank you for joining us on this fine Saturday morning.
Well, good morning. Always a pleasure, Mark.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, and I don't know if we have enough time to cover it all, but the Atlanta-based company Equifax, which is, as you know, one of America's 3 giant credit reporting agencies, announced in the last few days that hackers had penetrated its computers and stole data for at least 143 million people. Apparently, they came out late with the report, delayed notifying all of us about it, and now it appears that the hackers are threatening Equifax. At least one report that I had that they wanted to be paid in bitcoins and they want to blackmail Equifax. I mean, this is becoming a real story now, not to mention the fact from what I'm reading, consumers like ourselves have to go out and try to protect ourselves now.
Yeah, there's just so much wrong going on here. that it's ridiculous. About 143 million people apparently had their personal information exposed. And apparently, by the way, this is not just unique to the U.S., but apparently there are problems with Equifax globally as well. Now, part of this is the idea that, one, you never gave Equifax permission to have that personal information on you. Do you ever recall signing anything saying, Equifax, here's my personal information?
Not that I recall, no. I just assume they gather it and they just distribute it at will. That's my understanding.
That's basically what goes on. Now, the breach occurred in late July, and the question behind the breach is, how did it occur? Apache Software says it's because Equifax did not apply a patch that would have resolved the vulnerability issue that was breached. Equifax hasn't come up with a good answer on this one yet, but Apache is blaming Equifax, and this is going to be important because there has to be some culpability that takes place here. And by the way, there's going to be massive lawsuits involved in all of this. But not only did they know that there was a breach at the end of July, but then at least 3 Equifax executives, including the chief financial officer, sold a couple of $1 million worth of company shares, personal shares, after they learned about the breach, but before telling consumers and investors. They claim that the executives who sold the stock didn't know about it. So I'm sure the chief executive officer is just kind of wandering around, with his golf clubs up in the C-suite and has no idea that there is a breach of historic proportions that has just gone on at his company. No, he didn't know anything. No. It wasn't the topic of conversation at all in the executive suites. No. So that's just fraud right there. I mean, it doesn't take much to see through that sham, and that they're lying to investors about it, that they basically lied to investors and consumers about it. So now there's all this information, 143 million Americans, and you're thinking, I probably need to get my credit report and make sure that it hasn't been compromised. I probably need to put a freeze on my credit. That's probably a good idea, something that I should think about doing. And so you try to contact Equifax, and their website, guess what? It's frozen. You can't get through on that thing. You try to call, good luck. It ain't going to happen. You're not going to get through. And if you do, guess what they want to do to freeze your credit? Charge you. They want to charge you for a problem that they have created. This is just despicable behavior. They haven't realized the fact yet that they have culpability in this, and they're treating this as if it is not a significant problem. We really need to look at if they are going to continue to have personal information on people, whether they have the responsibility, whether they have enough integrity to safeguard that. And this should be a very high priority item. And clearly they treated it in a casual and overly relaxed manner. This is personal information of 143 million Americans, and they're just lackadaisical about the whole thing. This is pathetic. This is pathetic, but this is what you expect from a financial industry that just creates accounts out of thin air. They feel as if the American consumer is a commodity, and they can create accounts for you. They can say what they want to have happen to those accounts, and they can take your personal information, your birth date, your your social security number, your home address, your all this information, and they can control it, not you. There's something seriously wrong with this equation, and I'm just hoping that at some point or another we can see something change. Maybe this will be the catalyst for change. I don't know. I kind of doubt it, quite frankly. I think this is eventually going to just blow over, nothing's going to happen, and they're going to continue to treat us as, I say a commodity. Really, it's better to think of it as they're treating us as cattle or sheep, because that's about as much respect as they have for us.
Sinclair, we have about a minute here. You know, the real question now, what do we do as consumers? What's going to happen to us? Are we going to be compromised and find out that someone's buying a car in our name? You know what I mean? This is the big issue right now for Americans across the board. And I know I tried to go in and freeze my credit, and I had the same difficulty you described a minute ago. So it's going to be almost impossible. I can imagine 143 million people trying to freeze their account, right?
Yeah, right. It just isn't going to happen. Basically, you're out in the woods and you're all alone, and the wolves are coming. Sorry, out of luck. I'd like to say something happier. I'd like to say something more optimistic, but basically, Equifax just screwed 143 million people.
Sinclair, we're going to be talking about this for weeks to come. Sinclair No, KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of the great blog, EatTheBankers.com, and we'll check in with you next week, and this will be like Wells Fargo, an ongoing saga.
Oh, I'm afraid so. Thanks, Mark.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
I'm now convinced more than ever that we're just one major headline away from the next market crisis. Guess what? A new timeline report that I just read says that I happen to be right. Something big is getting ready to happen, just like it does at least once a decade over the last 100 years. An energy crisis in 79, an S&L crisis in 89, and the last two I warned you about, remember? The dot-com bust in 99 and the subprime crisis in 09. What's next? I want you to call for a free copy of Swiss America's new timeline report.
Thanks, Michael. Call toll-free 888-732-7164. That's 888-732-7164.
I've told you often, those who don't learn from history are destined to repeat it. Take action. It's no longer a question of if it's going to happen. It's just a question of when it's going to happen.
Call toll-free 888-732-7164. That's 888-732-7164.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-496-1532. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-496-1532. That's 1-800-496-1532. 1-800-496-1532.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now at
855-510-BACK.
For a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain.
Call 855-510-BACK to see if laser spine surgery is right for you. That's 855-510-BACK.
What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back, my good friend and always special guest, Harry Boxer from the TechTrader.com. TechTrader is a live trading room featuring Harry's trade alerts and technical market analysis. And, of course, he's the author of that great book, Profitable Day in Swing Trading, which Stock Traders Almanac in 2015 coined the best investment book of the year. Harry, it's been a real busy week here, so let's talk about what's going on. Gold seems to be popping a little bit. You had some nice trades. What's your pleasure?
Well, this is a very volatile market. I'm noticing that the real day trades, phenomenal day trades, like yesterday's big pop in, I already forgot the name of the stock. We had so many day trades of LA, but, I think ALDX was one, and we have this morning MRTX, and all these biotech stocks. When they pop and start to run, they take off, and we've seen a lot of good positive news coming from biotech as well. So it's really affecting a lot of some of our picks, like LOXO, LOXO was up dramatically, and obviously big moves in the last week or two, and to take over on a couple of the big ones like Kite, which was acquired, and now there's talk about potentially Clovis and a couple others being in play.
IBB, which is the biotech ETF, looks like it might have topped out a little bit short term. Do you agree or no?
Well, no. I think just the opposite. I'm looking at the patterns, and I'm seeing. Let me bring it up for you.
Just a little pullback, nothing major. Just looks a little toppy, but you're the expert. I'm just asking.
Well, when I look at the chart, it looks to me like a flag. Take a look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It ran up sharply, and it's got a flagpole, and it's sitting there in a 6-7 day flag, and it's not far from resistance. So you're talking about IBB, right?
Right.
The IBB runs up above 336.5, 7. It could explode.
Okay. fulfilling that flag pattern. So just look a little toppy to me here. Just so I mentioned, Biotex had a big move. They're just looking for a little pullback. Just thought what you thought. So meanwhile, we had some other big movers. First Solar broke out again today. That's one of your favorites.
Yeah, not only that, I put a swing on it, I think at 34. It's trading in the low 50s. But more importantly, it broke out of a 6-week coil pattern, and it's setting up for mid-50s and then maybe high 62, 63. I would not be surprised to see it there in the next few weeks.
And the hurricane-related plays like Generac doing well. I noticed you pointed that out today as well.
Well, yeah, I've been talking about Generac since about 3 weeks ago when it was trading in that 36.7 range, and now today it reaches high 45 and change, so it's up about 9 points. And
we don't want to talk about Bitcoin, but it's had a lot of volatility here for those who are in that market. So we'll leave that to the day when we have a stock or ETF we can trade. And we have about 10 seconds. Anything else that you want to bring to our listeners' attention that's hot?
Well, just we talked about Therapix being a really neat little biopharma involved with cannabis pharmaceuticals that just started moving yesterday. I think it's due for a substantial move in the next few months. And ABEO, ABEO, is one of my swing trades, and it's exploded from 7-8 range up to 16, 17. It looks to me like it could be 20s and 30s on a stock. It's a powerful pattern.
Great, Harry. Great ideas. Thank you so much. Harry Boxer from the techtrader.com, and we'll talk to him again this week.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harry. And I want to thank all my guests. We have a few minutes here now at the end of the show, so let's talk about the markets and what's really exciting this past week. Bitcoin, we've talked about ad nauseum on the show. We had a great trade at vrtrader.com. And, of course, we're going to talk about that. As you know, I've been talking about the Bitcoin Investment Trust, GBTC. And we were waiting for a pullback in Bitcoin. It had run up. We had taken some nice profits along the way. GBTC got up to $1,025 a share. Collapsed in the last, looks about 7 or 8 sessions, getting down to 480 intraday on Thursday. We went long, and we made, 40, 50 points in the stock really fast, just in one day. And in fact, volume turned up on Friday, so it looks like there might be a little bit more coming here. A lot of bears out there. The big story we did not cover, I wanted to cover with Sinclair, was Jamie Dimon's comment this week regarding Bitcoin. Basically, he termed it a bit of a fraud, and a lot of criticism for doing that. This is a worldwide event. I know Henry just mentioned that many governments will not permit this to continue, but I think this is a little bit beyond the system, the normal system. This is why Bitcoin was created, because of the distrust for currencies. The comment is, well, what's Bitcoin worth? What's backing a Bitcoin? Well, what's backing, any currency? Just the full faith of the government, or the willingness of people to accept it. And currencies, as you know, have been deteriorating in value over time. You can talk about any currency in the course of history. Even the British pound is down way from where it originally was. U.S. dollar has lost, 93% of its value since the Federal Reserve was created. So it's just paper, and that continues to deteriorate. You want physical assets, property, gold, that type of thing, to really, protect yourself, that you have something, some store of value, because ultimately currencies could go to zero. So the fear that, we can't really trust that is why Bitcoin was created. Japan accepted Bitcoin as a currency. China came out this past week or so saying they don't want any new ones created. They're called ICOs, these new cryptocurrencies that are created, and there are hundreds of them out there. The big ones, of course, being the Bitcoin. Ethereum is the next big one. Litecoin is another name. I have a link on my website newsletter. You pull it up, and it lists the top 100 in capitalization. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars that have invested in this. And, they are volatile, but they are being accepted as currency. So in the meantime, we've been trading the GBTC. The Winklevoss brothers were trying to get an ETF established. I get calls from security firms looking to create a Bitcoin IRA program, believe it or not, or investment managers thinking that you should have an allocation to Bitcoin like you would have an allocation to utility stocks, gold, or anything else. So I'm more in the camp that I think it's here to stay. It will be volatile. But, this is the future. And, the big banks like,
J.P. Morgan, Jamie Dimon. Of course, they're fighting it because they represent the quote-unquote system, and the system is beginning to change. And another reason that Bitcoin is of value is particularly in the cannabis sector. As you know, I author the Cannabis Vice newsletter, and with the federal law the way it is right now, banks are reluctant to accept cash, particularly those who deal in the plant. Of course, many of the stocks that we track are not related to the plant themselves. It's ancillary or complementary industries around the booming cannabis sector. But the Bitcoin itself is a currency of exchange, so to speak, where you can buy and sell, and you don't have to deal with the banks. And that's a great value as well. Many argue that, you're hiding money, you're laundering money, but it's another currency, and this is what it's all about. And the world needed another currency, particularly when you see the central banks printing money like crazy, arbitrarily moving interest rates up and down, and it's really not a free market. And we've talked about this in my newsletter for 35 years, the rig markets that exist out there. So we're playing the game, folks. Not happy about it, but that's the game that we have to play. And now we're seeing in the stock market, we're seeing the plunge protection team, the rigging continue in the face of probably the worst news that we've seen from North Korea to hurricanes. The market moves to new highs. So you've got that stabilization factor where the government's in there, and the question is, how long can it continue? Will it continue? And when it finally stops, which it will at some point, the devastation financially that could occur after that point. So the time being, I'd be a little careful here. We are moving to new highs. I recall back in 1987 how the market moved up into mid-September, and by the time you got to mid-October, we had a crash on our hands. So not to say that that's happening again, but we'll certainly get those technical signals if this suddenly reverses here in the days ahead. So it's that time frame of year, folks, and between now and November, there's still some theoretical risk here with the financial market, despite the optimism you're seeing here in the last few days with the market into new highs. And as we do each week, we close our show as our old friend Ed Hart did on the old Financial News Network decades ago, when he said, as we say, we will know in the fullness of time. Thank you for joining us on Wall Street Raw.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNloans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNloans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNloans.com. That's GCNloans.com.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep your essentials protected. You can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to see EMP testing. That's PortableSolarLLC.com. Energy insurance for your family.